Imagine loving someone with all your heart and realizing that they no longer belong in your life. That the very people you care about most are holding you back from becoming the person you were meant to be. Growth isn't gentle, it's brutal, it's uncomfortable, and it forces you to make impossible choices. Today, I'm going to show you why outgrowing people you still love isn't betrayal. It's proof that you're rising, evolving, and refusing to settle for anything less than your full potential. You can love someone deeply and still evolve past the space they occupy in your life. Growth is not a betrayal. It's a requirement, a non-negotiable force that shapes your destiny, whether others understand it or not. There is a brutal honesty in realizing that love alone cannot anchor you to people who no longer reflect your trajectory. Every relationship has a season, and the hardest part is acknowledging when that season has ended. Clinging to familiarity feels safe, but safety is often the enemy of greatness. You might feel guilt, confusion, or even fear when you recognize the distance forming, but these emotions are natural. Growth demands discomfort, and discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Every time you resist growth for the sake of someone else, you are silently muting your own potential. The irony is that love can exist without proximity. Real love doesn't suffocate, it releases. Outgrowing someone does not erase the love you feel, nor does it negate the memories you shared. You can honor their role in your life without keeping them tethered to your present. Love is not possession, it is appreciation, and appreciation can thrive even from afar. Often, the people we outgrow are the ones who laid the foundation of our current strength, unknowingly preparing us for the next chapter. There is an invisible line where caring meets limitation, and crossing it is an act of courage. It is not a reflection of weakness or selfishness. It is the demonstration of self-respect. When you recognize that staying will stunt your growth, you are choosing life over comfort. The world rewards those who evolve, not those who remain stagnant for the sake of familiarity. Releasing someone does not diminish your heart, it amplifies your awareness. Every relationship, whether it endures or fades, teaches a lesson that fuels your evolution. The pain of outgrowing people is often misunderstood because society confuses love with permanence. We are taught that loyalty means enduring everyone in your orbit, regardless of how misaligned they become. But growth is not disloyalty. It is fidelity to your highest self. The moment you begin to rise, you will notice friction in connections that once felt effortless. People may resist your change because they fear it challenges their comfort zones. This resistance can create emotional turbulence, guilt, and self-doubt. It is natural to question whether you are being too harsh or uncaring, but clarity comes from truth, not obligation. Choosing growth often means stepping into solitude, but solitude is not loneliness. It is preparation. In solitude, you discover strength you never knew you possessed, and clarity about who belongs in your life. Outgrowing someone is an act of honesty, the kind that liberates rather than confines. There is an invisible courage in loving and letting go simultaneously. You may still wish the best for someone while recognizing you can no longer walk their path with them. This duality is the paradox of growth. It is messy, it is emotional, but it is necessary. People may not understand your choices, and that is their limitation, not yours. You cannot be responsible for how others process your evolution. Loving someone means wanting them to thrive, even if thriving requires distance. Every step you take toward your own growth is a step into authenticity. If you suppress your evolution for the sake of someone else, both of you are confined to a version of life that is smaller than your potential. Growth is not optional for those who are determined to create impact and meaning. It requires sacrifice, clarity, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. Outgrowing people is not a judgment on their worth. It is a reflection of your own expansion. As you evolve, the energy you require from others changes, and that is natural. Some connections will meet your new level, others will drift behind, not out of malice, but out of misalignment. This is life's mechanism of calibration, a process that ensures your circle aligns with your mission. You may grieve the absence, question your choices, or feel nostalgia for the bond you shared. These emotions are signs of a heart that is alive, capable of deep attachment, and capable of transformation. Real growth demands that you separate attachment from alignment, love from dependency. In doing so, you honor both yourself and the other person, allowing love to exist without compromise. Outgrowing is proof that you are moving forward, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it hurts. The truth is, growth always asks for more than comfort can give. Every time you resist growth for the sake of someone else, you cheat your own life of possibility. The people you outgrow are not obstacles, they are markers, signposts that point to your next level. Clinging to the familiar feels like safety, but it is often stagnation in disguise. To evolve, you must embrace uncertainty, risk discomfort, and accept that some relationships are not meant to endure. Love does not require sacrifice of your essence. It requires respect for the journey. Releasing someone is not cruelty. It is acknowledgement that your paths are diverging. This act of courage is often lonely, yet profoundly empowering. Growth is a filter that refines your life. separating what nourishes from what drains. When you honor this process, you allow yourself to thrive, unencumbered by obligation or nostalgia. Every person you outgrow is a reflection of how far you've come. Understanding that outgrowing people is a part of life is liberating. It allows you to redefine love not as possession, but as appreciation. You can carry the lessons, gratitude, and affection for someone without keeping them in your immediate orbit. Growth requires clarity, honesty, and sometimes the courage to embrace discomfort for the sake of your future. Every time you let go, you make room for alignment, opportunity, and authentic connections that reflect your next chapter. Love is not extinguished by distance. It transforms into wisdom and gratitude. Holding on when the alignment is gone only dims your light. Every relationship has a natural lifespan, and recognizing that is a form of empowerment. Outgrowing people is evidence that you are becoming more of yourself unapologetically and intentionally. The journey of growth is continuous, and it rewards those who prioritize evolution over comfort. You may feel the sting of missing someone you still cherish, and that is normal. Emotional attachment is not something you can switch off at will. However, honoring growth requires a commitment to yourself over temporary comfort. The people you outgrow may continue to play a role in your memories, in your lessons, and in the shaping of your character. Love does not demand permanence. It demands authenticity. By outgrowing someone, you assert your right to a life aligned with your potential, your values, and your purpose. The courage to grow past love without diminishing it is rare and transformative. You begin to understand that life is not about holding on to everything you love, but about curating the relationships that fuel your evolution. This distinction between attachment and alignment is crucial for anyone serious about growth. The heart can expand beyond distance, beyond circumstance, and beyond expectation. Outgrowing people is a natural reflection of your journey toward becoming your best self. Feeling attached to someone does not automatically mean they belong in your future. Love is emotional, but alignment is practical, and the two are not always the same. You can cherish someone's presence while recognizing that their energy no longer matches your trajectory. Compatibility is not a luxury. It is the scaffolding of sustainable growth. Holding on to misaligned relationships is like building a house on shifting sand. It looks solid but collapses under pressure. Attachment can blind us to reality, making comfort feel like connection. True alignment requires courage, clarity, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. The people you outgrow are not failures, they are indicators of your evolving standards. Love without alignment is often an exercise in frustration, not fulfillment. Recognizing this is not cruel. It is an act of honesty toward both yourself and the other person. Many people mistake loyalty for stagnation, thinking that leaving someone behind is betrayal. But growth is not betrayal. It is survival, evolution, and empowerment. Every time you ignore misalignment for the sake of attachment, you compromise your potential. Alignment is not a feeling. It is a metric. It measures whether someone's presence in your life elevates you or anchors you to comfort. Staying in relationships that no longer align often produces resentment and subtle regret. It is emotionally expensive to continue investing in someone who cannot meet you where you are. Growth demands selective love, not indiscriminate attachment. You can still celebrate the value they brought without continuing the journey side by side. Alignment is the silent criterion that separates flourishing relationships from stagnant ones. There is a brutal clarity in outgrowing people you still love. The heart wants closeness, growth demands distance. When someone cannot meet your new level, your attachment can cloud judgment and lead to repeated disappointment. People may still be lovable, kind, and significant, yet incapable of walking the next step with you. This is not failure. It is natural evolution. Life is not about shrinking to fit others' expectations. It is about expanding to meet your own. Every relationship that ends due to misalignment is a reflection of your courage to prioritize your trajectory. The universe does not punish you for growing. It rewards clarity, focus, and self-honesty. When love exists without alignment, you are often forced to choose between nostalgia and progress. Choosing progress is not rejection, it is liberation. Attachment can masquerade as love, convincing us that loyalty requires proximity. But true loyalty honors growth even when it hurts. You can continue to care for someone while stepping away from them. The distinction between love and alignment is subtle but critical. You are responsible for cultivating a life that reflects your values, vision, and ambitions. Compromising alignment for emotional comfort is a recipe for stagnation, frustration, and missed opportunities. Outgrowing people is a reflection of your increasing standards, clarity, and self-respect. Your heart can remain soft even as your boundaries become firm. The people you outgrow often leave a mark on your journey, but they do not define its direction. Progress requires the courage to walk alone when necessary. The fear of losing someone you love is a natural human response, but it should never dictate your growth. Misaligned relationships create invisible friction that slows your momentum. Growth is not a negotiation, it is a requirement. Every moment spent in misalignment is a moment you could have spent building toward your potential. You can honor memories and still release presence. Letting go does not erase love. It honors the evolution of both people. The courage to outgrow relationships is a declaration that your life is not contingent on others' timing or readiness. Alignment is not negotiable. It is the lens through which clarity, focus, and impact are measured. The people you leave behind are not failures, they are witnesses to your evolution. This clarity is often uncomfortable, but discomfort is the catalyst for transformation. Every relationship has an energy signature that either fuels or drains you. When someone cannot meet your level, continuing the connection depletes your resources, time, and emotional energy. You may still love them, but love without alignment is a liability. Recognizing misalignment is not judgment, it is self-preservation. Growth is messy, emotional, and sometimes isolating, but it is necessary. Outgrowing people is proof that you refuse to settle for mediocrity in life or relationships. You can release someone without hatred, bitterness, or guilt. It is a conscious choice to prioritize your journey over emotional convenience. Every person you outgrow reflects your capacity to evolve, adapt, and lead your own life. Alignment is a filter, and growth is the test that sharpens your discernment. Outgrowing people does not diminish empathy or love. It expands perspective. You learn to differentiate between attachment and partnership, emotional comfort, and strategic alignment. Growth requires you to honor your vision, values, and direction, even when it conflicts with emotional bonds. Some people will resonate with your level, and some will not, and that is okay. The pain of realizing this is part of the process, not a failure. Love can exist in gratitude, memory, and respect even without ongoing presence. Boundaries become non-negotiable, not because you are cold, but because you are clear. Outgrowing someone is an act of emotional intelligence and strategic self-care. It requires courage to hold space for both love and distance. This paradox is the hallmark of growth and maturity. When you outgrow people, it challenges the ego, the heart, and the fear of loneliness. The ego wants to prove that loyalty equals attachment. The heart wants to cling to familiarity. Fear wants comfort. Growth demands all three to step aside. You begin to understand that your life cannot be measured by proximity or approval. Relationships are not the metric of your success, alignment is. Outgrowing people is a natural consequence of expanding standards, vision, and values. You cannot carry everyone forward without sacrificing your trajectory. True love honors evolution, respects boundaries, and celebrates alignment. When you master this, you experience freedom, focus, and clarity that attachment alone can never provide. Life is a series of alignments and misalignments, a process of calibration designed to reveal who belongs in your next chapter. People you outgrow are evidence of your evolution, not of their shortcomings. They helped shape who you are, but your journey now requires stepping forward with clarity. You can honor love while embracing distance. Growth does not demand rejection. It demands discernment, courage, and intentionality. Every misaligned relationship is an opportunity to refine your boundaries, values, and vision. Love is not extinguished by distance. It is transformed into respect, gratitude, and understanding. Outgrowing people is not a failure. It is a testament to your commitment to self-mastery. Each step taken in alignment is a declaration of your dedication to your future. Growth is inevitable, and love without alignment is the test that proves that you may still love someone deeply, but love alone cannot carry a relationship forward when your paths diverge. Emotional attachment is powerful, yet growth requires clarity that transcends feelings. Sometimes the people you cherish cannot meet you at your next level, no matter how much you hope or try. Accepting this truth is uncomfortable, but discomfort is where transformation lies. The heart wants closeness, growth demands courage to step into distance. You can honor memories and still release presence. Loving someone does not mean sacrificing your trajectory. Attachment is not a measure of loyalty, it is a measure of comfort. When growth calls, your responsibility is to yourself first. Outgrowing someone is not rejection, it is evolution. It is natural to feel guilt when leaving people behind, even those you love. Guilt is an emotional mirror reflecting attachment, fear, and empathy. It tempts you to compromise your potential for the sake of familiarity. But life does not reward stagnation, it rewards courage and clarity. Every moment spent trying to fit in someone else's life costs your own progress. You must recognize that growth is inherently isolating, and that isolation is the furnace of transformation. People may misunderstand your choices, criticize, or even resent them. That is their reaction, not a verdict on your worth. Outgrowing people is a process of emotional literacy, separating love from dependence. The ability to love without clinging is the hallmark of maturity. People often resist the reality that growth necessitates distance. When you evolve, the friction in relationships is inevitable. Misalignment becomes obvious in subtle tensions, unmet expectations, and mismatched priorities. You may wish they could rise to meet you, but transformation cannot be forced on others. Growth requires you to protect your time, energy, and vision, even at the expense of comfort. This is not cruelty, it is stewardship of your life. Every person you outgrow leaves a mark, teaching you lessons about resilience, boundaries, and self-respect. Recognizing misalignment is not judgment, it is honesty. Life is not about carrying everyone forward, it is about curating relationships that fuel your evolution. Love exists even when distance becomes necessary. The paradox of growth is that you can love and let go at the same time. The heart may grieve the absence, yet the mind knows it is necessary. Holding on to someone who cannot align with your vision creates invisible chains that slow your momentum. Growth demands detachment without diminishing care. You may still wish them well, honor their impact, and cherish memories. Releasing them is an act of love toward both yourself and them. The courage to choose your path over attachment is transformative. Emotional discomfort is temporary, lost opportunity for growth is permanent. Love that adapts without possession is stronger than love that clings. Outgrowing people is a testament to your integrity and commitment to your future. It is important to separate attachment from alignment, love from dependence. Emotional comfort is seductive, but it can deceive you into believing you are still aligned. Growth forces you to see reality clearly, to evaluate relationships through the lens of potential and impact. People may still be kind, supportive, and significant, yet incapable of meeting you where you need to go. Recognizing this requires brutal honesty with yourself. Misalignment is not failure, it is evidence of evolution. You cannot shrink to accommodate others' limitations without sacrificing your own trajectory. Each person you outgrow reflects your standards, vision, and courage. Growth is an act of selective love, a conscious choice to honor your potential. Emotional intelligence is measured in your willingness to release without resentment. Fear often accompanies outgrowing people, especially those you love. Fear of losing comfort, fear of being misunderstood, fear of loneliness, it all surfaces at once. The heart rebels against change, craving familiarity even when it limits growth. Courage is the act of stepping into uncertainty while holding onto your vision. The people who cannot rise with you are not obstacles, they are signals. Signals that your journey is demanding more clarity, more boundaries, and more courage. Every relationship that ends due to misalignment frees space for alignment, opportunity, and authentic connection. Love without alignment is like a candle burning in the wind. It flickers but cannot sustain light. Accepting this requires maturity, resilience, and self-trust. Outgrowing someone is a declaration that your life belongs to you. Grief is part of the process, and it is okay to feel it fully. Missing someone you still love does not make you ungrateful or unkind. Emotional attachment is natural, evolution is necessary. Growth asks you to carry love in memory, not in presence. You honor people by celebrating their impact and accepting the limits of your continued shared path. Every relationship you outgrow teaches lessons in resilience, self-awareness, and emotional boundaries. Learning to navigate this duality strengthens your ability to love without compromising. Outgrowing is not the absence of care, it is the presence of wisdom. The world rewards those who can love freely and act boldly. Growth demands you choose clarity over comfort repeatedly. The people you outgrow are often the mirrors of your transformation. They reveal your increasing standards, your capacity to evolve, and your vision for life. Misalignment is not personal, it is structural, based on different levels of growth and perspective. You may still cherish them, but continuing the relationship without alignment is a form of self-sabotage. Love can exist in gratitude, memory, and well wishes without the obligation of daily presence. Emotional discipline allows you to separate care from dependency. Your heart can remain soft, your boundaries firm, and your direction uncompromised. Outgrowing someone demonstrates mastery over attachment and clarity of purpose. The ability to hold love while walking away is a rare form of courage. Growth is never linear, but it is always forward. Outgrowing people tests your commitment to yourself. It forces you to weigh nostalgia against progress, attachment against clarity. The moment you choose your trajectory over comfort, you claim agency over your life. Emotional discomfort is inevitable, but the cost of staying misaligned is far greater. Every misaligned relationship consumes energy, focus, and potential. Releasing someone is not betrayal, it is honesty. Growth requires the courage to step forward even when it feels lonely. Outgrowing people allows space for relationships that align with your vision. Love is not a tether, it is a lens that clarifies your values and purpose. The people you outgrow are witnesses to your evolution, not casualties. You learn that love and growth are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist in paradox, demanding both heart and discipline. Outgrowing someone does not erase your care. It demonstrates emotional intelligence. Growth forces you to evaluate every connection for alignment, impact, and resonance. It requires prioritizing your journey without diminishing your empathy. Emotional maturity is measured by the ability to release without bitterness, to celebrate without clinging. The courage to step away from love that no longer aligns is transformative. It allows you to move forward with clarity, freedom, and authenticity. Outgrowing people is a process of self-actualization. Growth asks you to love boldly, act decisively, and never compromise your path. Every person you outgrow is a reflection of how far you have come, a mirror of your own potential and growth. When you recognize misalignment, it is not judgment, it is awareness. You can love deeply and still understand that your paths no longer converge. Growth is not an accident. It is intentional, demanding, and often uncomfortable. The people you leave behind help shape who you are, but they cannot define your next chapter. To honor yourself is to honor your trajectory above nostalgia or convenience. Outgrowing someone is not rejection. It is a declaration of your commitment to your vision. Your love can remain intact while your boundaries become firm. Every ending is a lesson, every release an act of courage. Growth rewards those who can love without compromising. Letting go is not the absence of love, it is the presence of wisdom. You can celebrate the role someone played in your life while stepping into your next level. The heart may feel lost, yet the mind understands necessity. Emotional attachment can be deceptive, making stagnation feel like loyalty. True growth requires distinguishing between comfort and alignment. Some people cannot evolve alongside you, and that is not failure, it is reality. The courage to release them is an act of respect for both your life and theirs. Love does not demand permanence, it demands clarity. Every person you outgrow is proof that your standards are rising. Embracing this truth is liberation, not loss. Outgrowing people forces you to confront fear, guilt, and uncertainty simultaneously. The heart wants to cling, the ego wants approval, the mind knows clarity is non-negotiable. Growth asks you to prioritize your trajectory above attachment. Emotional discomfort is temporary, but the consequences of staying misaligned are permanent. You may grieve absence, question decisions, and doubt yourself, yet these are natural markers of progress. Every misaligned relationship is a filter, separating those who match your energy from those who do not. The courage to walk forward alone is a testament to self-respect. Outgrowing someone is not cruelty, it is fidelity to your evolution. Your life cannot be tethered to others' readiness. Growth is demanding yet endlessly rewarding. Every person you outgrow teaches lessons in resilience, boundaries, and self-awareness. They show you the difference between attachment and alignment, comfort and authenticity. You learn to honor both your heart and your vision without compromise. Misalignment is inevitable in life. Resisting it only prolongs discomfort. Growth requires selective love, strategic distance, and emotional intelligence. The ability to hold care for someone while walking away is transformative. You begin to understand that love can exist without proximity, respect without dependence. Every release creates space for alignment, opportunity, and authentic connection. The courage to outgrow is the courage to lead your own life. Your evolution is proof that you can love boldly while moving decisively. Guilt is a natural companion when leaving people behind, but it is not a verdict. It reflects attachment, empathy, and the weight of change. The challenge is to honor those feelings without letting them dictate your trajectory. Growth asks you to separate nostalgia from purpose, love from obligation. You cannot shrink to fit others' readiness without diminishing your potential. Every step you take away from misalignment strengthens your clarity, courage, and autonomy. Outgrowing people is evidence of your commitment to living intentionally. Love can coexist with boundaries. Affection can coexist with distance. Every ending is an invitation to deeper authenticity and fulfillment. Growth requires discomfort, but it rewards clarity. The paradox of outgrowing people is that love does not disappear, it transforms. You carry lessons, memories, and gratitude forward, not resentment. Emotional intelligence is measured by your ability to love without clinging, to release without bitterness. Every person you outgrow reflects your rising standards and expanding vision. Misalignment is not a failure, it is a natural part of evolution. The courage to step into solitude allows space for alignment and opportunity. Love can remain gentle even as boundaries become firm. Every release is a declaration of integrity, a step towards self-mastery. Outgrowing people is the highest form of self-respect and strategic emotional leadership. Growth is both the process and the reward. Recognizing misalignment requires brutal honesty, the kind that asks you to evaluate every relationship through the lens of impact. Not everyone will meet you where you are, and that is okay. Love is not measured by proximity or permanence. It is measured by authenticity, respect, and alignment. Outgrowing someone is an act of courage and self-awareness. Emotional comfort can no longer dictate your trajectory. You begin to understand that your life is finite, your energy limited, and your potential vast. Every relationship that ends creates space for the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your purpose. To honor growth is to honor your life. Outgrowing people is a reflection of your courage to prioritize your evolution. The journey requires honesty, discipline, and unwavering clarity. Every step away from misalignment is a declaration of intentionality. You are no longer available for compromise that undermines your potential. Emotional attachment may ache, yet it cannot outweigh the necessity of growth. The courage to release someone you love allows space for alignment, opportunity, and authenticity. Each outgrown relationship sharpens your discernment, clarifies your vision, and strengthens your boundaries. Love is not extinguished by distance. It is refined into gratitude, respect, and wisdom. Outgrowing people is evidence that you are willing to lead your own life boldly and unapologetically. Your heart remains compassionate even as your path becomes clear. Growth is the reward for courage, clarity, and integrity. The people you outgrow are witnesses to your transformation, not casualties of it. They helped shape your journey, but your trajectory now demands different energy, alignment, and vision. To release them is not betrayal, it is acknowledgement of evolution. Emotional discomfort is inevitable, yet temporary. The clarity and freedom gained from prioritizing growth is lasting. Every relationship that ends due to misalignment reinforces your capacity to love selectively and wisely. You begin to understand that life is not about holding on to everyone you care about. It is about curating connections that elevate, empower, and align. Outgrowing people is both a reflection and a catalyst of your potential. Love without compromise is possible, and it is transformational. Growth rewards courage, honesty, and self-respect. Every release is an act of liberation, a step toward alignment with your values, vision, and potential. Love can remain intact, memories can remain cherished, and gratitude can remain alive, even as proximity fades. Outgrowing people requires bravery, discernment, and emotional mastery. You are not abandoning care, you are prioritizing your trajectory. Every person you outgrow signals that your life is expanding, that your standards are rising, and that your potential is demanding space. Boundaries become sacred, clarity becomes non-negotiable, and growth becomes inevitable. The courage to release someone you love allows your life to align with your highest self. Love can coexist with distance, respect with separation, and affection with authenticity. Outgrowing people is not loss, it is evolution. Growth is your reward, and your life becomes unstoppable.